guys, welcome to another episode of Becoming a Professional. I'm your host, Riley Ramos, and I am joined by my lovely co-host. We are actually back again, so always happy to have our recap. But so just to go down the line for our co-host, we got the amazing Mackenzie Gravett, the wonderful Danielle Bradley, and the phenomenal Mangala Prasetya. Or we'll just refer to him as Mangala because wasn't that how it was last year?
Oh, yeah,
Pretty
it's
much.
like one name, like
Just-
Beyonce.
Yeah, or Cher.
Yeah.
So we are recording our recap from Orlando, Florida. We actually just concluded or adjourned.
Literally just now.
Just now.
Mackenzie, are you okay?
I am going to need a lot of coffee.
A lot? Yeah. And then so before we dive into our recap, because there's a lot to unpack, let's go over our usual housekeeping. So again, this episode is brought to you by the National Chapter of Beta Alpha Psi. Enormous appreciation for their support. Make sure to sign up for the Alumni Member Network if you haven't already, so we can easily connect and have y'all experience the benefits of the network. So disclaimer, the opinions in this podcast are our own and may not reflect the position of Beta Alpha Psi or our respective employers as a whole. Good. Housekeeping. Check. So,
Check.
how did everyone? How does everyone feel about annuals this year? It was a lot. There was a lot happening.
I'll cover my ears. I'm just kidding.
Right.
It was awesome. I loved every minute of it.
Thank you.
Yeah. All because of Mackenzie.
Appreciate
No, but
What about you, Danielle? How do you feel about? How did you feel that annuals went?
I thought it was a great meeting. The only thing ever with this hotel, which isn't programming, is just the walk over here.
Oh my gosh. I feel like I have hiked Mount Everest, like trying to get to this room. But yeah, once again, like just the hotel. I mean,
Wow.
there was another conference at the same time.
Hi,
There was a-
please don't. Please continue to give us discounted things. All right. Yeah.
But there was a lot of conferences here with us
Yes.
this weekend.
Oh yeah, you guys
Yeah.
missed it. When I first got here on Monday, there was some kind of like a space themed
Yes.
conference
Yeah, it was
happening.
like
Yes,
the
we saw that.
Oracle.
Did you
on
see
the-
it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we saw you doing it. Yeah.
Well,
AI.
what you missed on Monday was they had a costume night.
Oh.
So when I was checking into the hotel, all of a sudden the Mandalorian came around the corner.
Wait, what?
Oh,
Is
that's
that a
cool.
picture?
No, I
Wow.
was looking around going, where am I? And I was actually afraid that we had like a Comic-Con or something happening next door. I was like, man, are we gonna lose students to this? But it worked out really well. Yeah.
Interesting.
You know, it's weird. I got in on Monday afternoon and they didn't have a Mandalorian like
I'm
dressed,
sorry.
dressed up. It was only at nighttime. That's a shame.
It's only for the cool people. That's
Yeah,
the
that's
welcome
it.
party for the cool people.
But the main stage speakers this year were great.
Oh yeah,
I think
phenomenal.
did a great job at capturing audience attention,
Mm-hmm.
keeping up with that energy, and gave a lot of valuable insights. And I think that was also communicated a lot in the professional sessions. And I know even the one that I had done based on more personal development, a lot of themes that were consistent across the board.
Yeah, and those themes are actually like really good in terms of like advancing modern accounting. Like, as in, I mean, there's 2 AI sessions or like 3, I think. They were like, and one of the keynotes was focused around like AI. So it's keeping it relevant, right? Like accounting that's actually relevant, as opposed to your 20th, 19th century classic accounting stuff. So,
Yeah. I thought this year's theme was great, like embracing innovation, empowering professionals. So as soon as we found out that that was the theme that Mark had decided on for this year, my biggest thing was, like you said, finding the speakers to really push that theme forward, and then we could kind of tailor the messaging around that. So I think for the first time, at least in my memory, we had a FinTech speaker, which is something that is definitely hard to find. And
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
not only was she local to the Orlando area, which was huge, but like she mentioned, she is a female leader of a top 100 CPA firm, which is just incredible. So Avani Desai from Shellman. So if she's tuning in, thank you so much for being here. Our students loved it. And yeah, I thought it was great.
Yeah. And DEI, right? Like, and that's the other thing. DEI was a big focus in this meeting, and
Yep.
I loved it. Like, I loved it. The fact that
Absolutely.
we're actually, empowering professionals, not just from like innovation, but it's actually like through an inclusion perspective, which I guess you could say is like, innovative. It shouldn't be. It's common sense, but like it's emerging, like, in
It's
quotation
giving
marks.
the various
Yeah.
resources
Right.
to allow others to grow and continue that development, whether it's personal or professional.
Yep. And keep it more equitable.
I like it. Well, to even, I guess, provide some perspective on, for our members who weren't able to make it, pretty much give some stats on who made it to the meeting. So we pretty much had over 800 attendees from 36 states, 3 countries. We had our community service event, the Community Impact Day. We donated 2,250 books, 1,600 decorated bookmarks, 800 stuffed animals were created. That was really fun.
It was so fun.
Yeah.
What else we got? We got 10 boxes of school supplies collected. 3.
Big boxes.
Yeah,
Big
and then
boxes.
you guys mentioned the 3 keynote speakers. We were able to get some CPE provided, so that was always nice to have. And then what else? Professional sessions, had 17 of them, 27 best practices presentations, 71 student participants in Project Run With It. That's a fun time. I
That's
remember
a lot of stats.
Yeah.
I mean, we love our numbers, I guess,
Yes.
accounting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, there was a lot that was happening. And were any of those, like, I guess, notable or honorable mentions, anything that stuck out to you from the sessions?
The live podcast.
The live, oh,
We
the
had
live
podcast.
podcast.
That was amazing. Like, honestly, like, I
That
would
was
just say,
a great turnout
Yeah.
as well, especially
Yeah.
for this room being so far away.
yeah.
Mhm.
I got a little nervous, but I was standing by the escalator at one point, and
You're like, "Get
it
'em
was
in."
like no, but it was like all of a sudden I turned around and there were. I mean, did we do a head count? There were.
No, we had a
there were
packed
It
room.
was
We had
a
a packed
lot
room.
of people
Yeah.
It was pretty
Yeah.
much a
we had-
packed room, but
Yeah.
I guess to provide some background on what that is, because that episode won't be released until, I guess, well, after this one. This one will definitely be out before any of the others. But so who was it? Mangala had Chad, who was our alumni advocate,
And
as well as Amber Young, who is our incoming alumni advocate. She'll be serving as the alumni task force chair for the mid-year reps. They were joined by returning guest Peter Alinto. So
Sugar Bear.
Sugar
Sugar
Bear. He did not talk about his legs, but unfortunately, but he still gave some really good perspective, and we were able to have a ton of students interact with
yeah.
with us on the podcast. So I was playing the backseat tech guy to the side of it, but
AKA the most important
The
part.
most important one. The most important one. Although at
So.
some stage I got really confused, Riley, because I was like looking at the questions that was being scanned, the QR code, and then like you were like gesturing to all these people that were in the audience.
Yeah.
And then like Mackenzie was giving me hand signals, and I was like, oh, all right.
yeah.
What's going on there? But I mean, in every
Well-
podcast recording, there's always some chaos, right? So
Oh yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
absolutely.
Gotta be
but we had
flexible.
a packed room.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
And
right.
what we
Well,
had-
a packed room, and I was felt like I was on one of those like live shows, like the Jimmy Kimmel shows or whatever you guys have, like, you know, like hey, I'm just
No,
I'm just
you're
saying
right.
that's-
You're right.
that's
I'm
You're
just
right.
picturing
I'm sorry.
like. I'm just picturing the single name Mangala, but it's like Oprah.
yeah.
right
In lights, like the
yeah,
marquee
Yeah.
letters.
or like who else, like I mean there's so many night shows, like in Australia
Yeah.
we love like watching these things because we're like, wait, they have another talk show and another live talk show, so
You should have your own one day. I think that's where this is heading.
no,
Put
I
on
reckon-
long-term
We heard
goals.
about-
I'm
I mean,
waiting for
I'll-
Riley.
I'll-
We heard, the places you'll go with an accounting degree.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
there's-
I love that signed book.
Oh,
I
yes.
love that. I was like,
yes.
oh my gosh. Like,
So
this
for some
is-
background.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
for
Yeah,
some
no, we love our-
background. We gotta keep
Always give some
giving
background.
Oh,
yeah,
me.
that was you. Yeah.
So
Yeah, that was you,
our
Mackenzie.
last keynote speaker today, Kelly Richmond Pope, signed copies. She signed 1,068 copies
Oh my
of her
God.
book over
Handwritten.
the last 2 days, handwritten. We went through a lot of Sharpies. And they were sponsored by Becker. So thank you so much for sponsoring those books for our students. Very excited to be able to give those out. And then I had no idea that she was also giving out Red Flag Media sessions.
Oh
So
yeah,
yeah,
that's
I
right.
didn't know that, and I think that's great for our chapters to be able to take that back and use even once they return to campus. I know I will be logging on and doing that.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be
for
fun.
sure, and
Yep.
hosting a game night with some neighbors. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, she's one of my absolute heroes and idols. So I was super excited that we were able to get her.
Well, and I mean that's kind of a perfect transition to Mackenzie serving as the annual meeting co-chair this year. I mean, Danielle, you served as it last year, passed the torch to Mackenzie, and she was able to really handpick our keynote speakers. So, Mackenzie, can you actually talk more about your experience serving as the co-chair, and I guess any advice for whoever is the co-chair for next year?
For sure. I mean, it's been a blast. Everybody, I think even like the BAP staff and the AAA conferences staff kept checking in, like to see how I was doing, which I greatly appreciate. And my response was always, I thrive on chaos. So like I said, I need a lot of coffee right now. Like the adrenaline is really starting to wear off. But I had a Rich Houston, the director of the accounting program at the University of Alabama, walked directly into my path as I was prepping for Meet the Firms one day and had to physically stop me because that's the only way you're going to get my attention. And I just never will forget, he said, if I had a heart attack, I would want you there. And then he just walked away. And I'm
Wait,
left to
what?
like ponder.
How ominous.
What that, yeah, right? But I was kind of like,
Because you're thriving.
because I thrive in chaos, you know?
Oh,
So
okay,
he was
okay.
just saying like,
Okay, I thought it was
Yeah.
a sign. I was like,
No, but
"Oh,
he was
he's trying
saying,
to tell you something."
like, I'm one of those people that I do well under pressure. I do well under pressure in the moment, and then I'm gonna crash really hard later, you know. But it's really fun, and my favorite part about this is getting to look on social media at all of the posts that the students and the chapters are putting out, and seeing how much fun they're having.
Yep.
Because I kind of feel like the little puppet master, you know, behind the stage. Like you get to be somebody that helps make the magic happen. So I mean, I'm sure we'll get to this later, but you know, Riley, you're gonna be a parent here soon.
Yes,
and,
yes.
Congratulations.
pretty soon.
Thank you.
And one of the things, even for that I'm most excited about, not that that's coming anytime soon, is just getting to, like, my mom was always the one who did Christmas, you know, all the holidays, and kind of getting to be the magic maker, you know. So this has been a really fun experience, and I'm sure you kind of share that sentiment. But my biggest advice for whoever's going to come after us is just that, as Kimberly always says, Kimberly Ellison Taylor, closed mouths don't get fed. And as Dr. Houston, once again, best piece of advice I got in college, said to me, don't let anyone tell you no on your behalf. Like don't say no on behalf of anyone else. That's what it was. And so I asked, I think 5 people total to do keynotes. I had, out of those 5, 1 did not respond, totally fine. 1 passed, and 3 said yes. And I asked people so early. So that's another thing that I would say is, like, if you want big name people, their schedules fill up so far in advance. So pretty much as soon as I got back from last year's annual meeting, after I was asked to chair, I think I gave myself like a month to brainstorm, and then spoke to my co-chair and the board president, and kind of got the go-ahead to reach out to folks. And we had everyone confirmed by Thanksgiving.
Wow.
And that's what you have to do. So we were very fortunate to have 2 Beta Alpha Psi alum, so Avani Desai and Kelly Richmond Pope, come back to speak to students. And then very excited that we were able to right a wrong, you know, and induct Richard Chambers, who was not a member while he was in college, but is now an honorary member of Beta Alpha Psi. So we can proudly say that all 3 keynotes belong to our organization, and I think that's phenomenal.
Yeah, and 2 are local, you said?
And
Yes.
2 are local. So Richard and Avani are from the Orlando area, and Kelly was gracious enough to fly in from Chicago.
Nice.
Wow.
I love it. I love it. Well, and then also, Danielle, you presented a professional session
I did.
during the meeting. How was that?
It went really well. It was called Maximizing Your Life: Lessons Learned from a Multifaceted Career. I've had the privilege and honor to serve various roles in my career, but also to go through, I feel like, different phases, or what I would call almost eras of my life. So
Yes. Okay.
yeah, so
Swift
Taylor
reference? That's a Taylor Swift reference.
yeah,
We all big Swifties here, or
Yes.
okay.
I'd say like I'm a moderate Swiftie.
Okay, yeah.
feel like I'm a big
moderate as well. Yeah.
Fine.
If
I
it's
know
on,
too
it's
much.
on.
Okay. Okay.
But I always intend with that session to be very authentic and raw. So I led in with that. You know, it's a bit bittersweet for me because Paul Weiss and I used to do that session together years ago and kind of started that. And so obviously in memory of him, wanted to continue with that authenticity and raw intentions with that session and be very open about the different strives I've had, both personally, professionally, what I've learned, what I wish I would have done sooner, health issues I've had, and just the concept of managing stress, time management, but also living your life to the fullest. And as I look past on the last, 9, almost 10 years of my life, especially the last year and a half has been the most impactful for me. And I've really found myself again, which I've been fortunate to do. And I think a lot of us, as we initially get into the profession, or even after we're in for, I'd say, over 5 years, you lose a sense of identity, and it's easy to fall into habits that may not be best serving you.
Yeah.
So always continuously thinking about the prioritization of what your goals are at that point in time, and focusing on what you truly want for yourself and living life to the fullest, like not being worried about timeline considerations or saying I'm going to do that later. I always try to take advantage of opportunity when it's there, but I've also learned that there's opportunities I do need to pass on just for health and wellness now that I used to bog myself down with quite a bit. So there was a lot of great feedback in that session. Really appreciated everyone that was there. We also did it for CPE, so
Nice.
got an hour and a
Nice,
half
nice.
of CPE.
Hey, that's awesome. That's awesome. And I feel like just hearing about that and then me reflecting on how like my relationship with every one of you, I feel like we're all kind of embodying that, like, I guess that sense of what you were presenting on.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we all have like so many things going on, but we're always like making time for the things that we're passionate about.
Yeah. I gave in my session the rule of 3, and I've always kind of spoke on that you can only have so many priorities. We only have 24 hours in a day and so much time in our life. But you know how you hear the reference with people that have multiple types of beverages? It's like water,
Yes.
coffee.
Wait, what
I
is this?
get-
One
What?
for fun.
Yes. So
Yeah.
I gave that example, and it was basically water, something that like caffeinates you, and something that's fun, or like sparkling, whatever you kind of prefer.
Are you a beverage guy, Riley? You have a Snapple right there. I see
You
it.
do,
Does
you
that-
do.
Wait, does this have a Snapple fact?
Yeah.
But
Snapple, you need
with
a
that
sponsor us.
kind of thematic message, I said I think there's one priority at any point in your life. Of those 3 main priorities you have to have one that sustains you, basically the water in this example, one that energizes you, which is that caffeinated beverage, and then one that challenges you and allows you to grow, which is that third option. And I think as long as you're looking and prioritizing time in that way and managing that one of those fits into each of those buckets, I think you would have a happy life, and you can moderate and change what those priorities are at any given point and season of your life.
I
But
love that. I've never connected that to the.
I know, I was
the
like,
beverage
I'm kind of
thing
impressed
before.
with myself. No, I had this like on the slide deck, little icons.
That's really cool. I'm definitely a beverage girl, so I feel I always have like at least 3 things on my desk at work. But well, I would be remiss, I believe, if I didn't take this opportunity to segue into my favorite part of the annual meeting, which I'm glad that we've kept up for 2 years now, which is an appearance by Dancing Danielle.
Oh,
Oh,
That's right.
I was like, where is this going?
Where is this going?
Yeah,
We didn't clear any of this with each other, so.
No, not at all.
yes. I as you all know, line dancing has been a passion of mine, and that's kind of that energized element of my life right now. And so I absolutely love doing that with the students. It's always like you have to push them a little bit, and they're like,
Well, we're
do I
accountants.
want to? Yes. But there's people clearly out on the floor, and they were
people
running.
crushing it.
Yes, I know. They
the
did a great
Oceania
job.
kids all went to Cowboys. They
Yes,
were
they
inspired.
I
by
know, they
line
were
dancing.
inspired.
You're an
See?
Yeah.
influencer.
So they were like, they're gonna go to they
Follow
were
me on
like,
Instagram. No.
Throw it in, throw it in.
That's the thing,
Drifting
you were
Danielle,
you were missing from
dancingdanielle.com.
Cowboys. She wasn't there.
Yeah, I heard that a lot of people went out to Cowboys last night.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I
you
know, but
definitely-
they didn't tell
but
me.
But they didn't.
That's
yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying.
and
I was like,
like,
where is
where
the
was-
invitation?
Yeah, well,
I
they
would
were
have
they were
mentored
intimidated
them.
by how good you were, so they were like, oh,
It's like,
you know,
she gonna win the
come on.
competition.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
also.
check out our Instagram. We'll see if we can
Dancing
post some
Danielle.
content from
Oh,
Dancing
yeah.
Danielle.
Dancing Danielle.
Oh, we for
give
sure
her a
will.
shout out. And Riley, what was the fun fact about the beverages?
Facetious has all the vowels in the alphabet.
Ah,
I
thank
saw
you,
he was
Snapple.
reading. Well, you
Got
were
it.
saying it's a fun drink, right? Snapple.
Yes.
So I was like,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think that's how
Which
you
I
say
don't
it. I
even
think
know
that-
what Snapple is
Facetious.
actually.
Yeah.
Yes, anyway.
It's not facious.
No,
Okay.
it's definitely not that.
Huh?
Oh, guess.
Yeah, but with also that being said, because you guys had your big moments, and then Mangal and I feel like we were working.
Yeah, we were
this-
working hard.
during this
we were working hard during
this meeting for the
yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously.
Yeah, okay, we weren't working
I'm
as hard
just
as
kidding.
Not working as
Okay.
hard.
But
Okay,
for the
yeah.
podcast.
Yeah, for the
I know what you mean.
for the
Yeah, because
podcast. Yeah.
I mean, we have so
'Cause
much in
we've been
store.
getting requests. We're like, hey, why don't you
You did
record
sound
this?
southern
Why don't
when you
record-"
said that.
What?
You
Yeah.
did sound southern when you said. "We
Miguel's
been
been working
getting
on his
requests."
southern accent. But
Yeah, it's coming out because I'm talking to you.
we're hanging out too much.
So who all did
No.
you guys record with? I know I was MIA for
Oh, we
all
don't
of
want to
this.
spoil that. Do we want to spoil that? Do we want to spoil that.
We'll
Offline, offline.
offline.
Okay.
Offline.
Okay,
Got
an
it.
But,
offline
I'm gonna
conversation.
I know a
But-
couple.
But a couple, yeah. You've probably seen them, like some people loitering around Riley's hotel
Loitering?
room.
Not sketchy
like
at
it's like
all.
not sketchy. They were just like pacing around outside, like
But I-
ringing a doorbell, like clicking.
So funny.
I think
know?
we could talk on like themes though of
Sure.
what
Oh
to
yeah,
expect.
yeah. We can
Like
talk on the themes.
there
yeah.
was one kind of focused on collaboration, one focused on succession planning, a lot of topics still about, I think, not necessarily like finding a sense of identity, but prioritization, kind of current thematic messages. So
the future of education. Yeah.
Yeah,
what was that?
mentorship was also a big one that was
Yep,
touched
yep,
on.
yep, yep.
A lot of AI.
yeah,
was a
AI.
huge
there's
discussion
a little bit
topic
of
that
AI. Yeah.
I feel like our listeners have been asking more on the technical side of things.
Mm-hmm.
So having that AI piece would really hit
yeah.
home for y'all. And
Yeah.
so
And
Yeah.
fun fact, like they are from around the world, so
Love that.
we'll give you that. Yeah.
yeah,
It's
so-
because annual meetings do bring the 3 different countries together, right?
Yes, the one
And
time
I'm-
of the
yeah,
year
exactly,
we're ever in the
exactly.
same place.
Exactly. And fourth, no, we're waiting for Saudi Arabia to make their way. here.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's it.
Well, and then so we mentioned themes for upcoming episodes that are yet to be posted, but I guess we can also look back at some of our past episodes
Can
because
you believe it's been a year?
I know
it's
that's
been a
fun.
year, y'all. It's been a year. Sorry, it's not
Y'all.
real fun
Y'all.
there.
Yeah, you
But-
know, like in his script. So this is a fun fact. Like for the future episodes, please do not judge me, Australians and New Zealanders. The fact that like on the script it says y'all, and then I probably like I don't know had a
You
mind
text
blank, and I
me,
just
y'all.
like read. Yeah, that's the thing because I'm like okay, I'm talking to Americans, so I need to say y'all, but like.
I definitely
like,
say
on the
y'all a
script-
lot.
But on the script, I was like, yeah, you do,
do.
you do. You
I said all
definitely
y'all.
It's the
do.
I said
line
all
dancing
y'all.
coming
Yeah,
in.
I'm telling you, yeah.
I'm like, hi y'all.
Too much
How we
country
doing?
music.
Hey y'all.
Oh man, but reflecting on the past episodes, it got me thinking about Beta Alpha Psi's mission. And so for those who don't know, it's to inspire and support excellence by 1, encouraging the study and practice of accountancy, finance, business analytics, or digital technology. 2, providing opportunities for service, professional development, and interaction among members and financial professionals. And 3, fostering lifelong ethical, social, and public responsibilities. So it got me thinking about like, okay, what episodes have we done in the past that hit those marks?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so like for example, for that first one, the study and practice of accountancy, finance, business analytics, Kimberly, I feel like she is probably one of the biggest advocates to get your CPA.
But also be cross-functional
Yeah,
Right.
along,
I think,
across
yeah.
those dynamics, which I think was big.
Because
Yeah.
she also like shouted out like IA, right? Like the Internal
Yep.
Audit Institute. Yeah. So it's you have to think about the future of accountancy, and I think she does that really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
And
think
then-
we've done, I mean, not to pat ourselves on the back, but I think we've done at least a decent job of highlighting the fact that accounting is more than just audit and tax, right?
Yes.
Like we've had people from a variety of different backgrounds on the pod, and I think that's really beneficial, especially for some of our chapters who are either limited by their geography, so they may not have a lot of diverse career options where they're located, or just the fact that it's the nature of the beast, right? Like if they need to have sponsorships for their chapter, it's going to be the larger firms that are able to provide those sponsorships. So I know that was always something that we struggled with when I was at the University of Alabama was, we didn't want to have the same presentations semester after semester, year after year, but at the same time, we do need those firms to continue to support what we're trying to do on campus, right? So I'm just happy that we're able to at least be a small part and highlight some of the people in our networks that have more diverse career experiences, more diverse offerings.
Right. And then also, speaking of our professional partners and having that support, we are officially a sponsored podcast.
Yes.
Like we got
Yeah.
our first sponsorship with UWorld. That's been a super exciting experience to have Peter on the live audience
We love you, Sugar
episode.
Bear.
So, much love to Pete. And so that has been something that, like, even with the mission, being able to interact among members and financial professionals, I feel like that was the perfect opportunity for that. And then also when it comes to fostering lifelong ethical, social, public responsibilities, we've had episodes with Bobby LaCour on the West Coast talking about growth mindset. Kayla, it's now McGeough?
McGeo.
McGeough. It used to be Kayla Dollar.
That was easy.
But she recently got married, and now it's
Congratulations.
so another reason for the networking piece to it.
Oh
but-
my god.
Yeah, actually,
How
I
was
really
Peter?
want to address that, right? Like, I mean, I appreciate it. I appreciate the sentiments, but I think like the impression that a lot of the students walked out of the networking piece was like they were
I
like,
agree.
can I get a wingman? Can I find a girlfriend? Can I find a boyfriend? Can I find a partner? Like, I don't know.
I
like,
thought
I
it
mean,
was a little funny,
it's great. It's
but-
great. I love the fact that, Riley and Kayla came up, like, and they were like, find your love in Disneyland. But
You know what it reminded me of coming in, and it was during the session, the networking session, where that was especially prompted with both Riley's background on how he met his wife, and then Kayla with her husband, both being affiliated through Beta Alpha Psi. I was just like, this reminded me of the being on stage too. I was like, you see that those dating shows, and they just
Yeah.
go like
Right,
city by
right.
city,
Yeah,
and they like have somebody,
my
and then they
gosh.
have the singles, and they go through and they don't see each other, or they give like their background on who they are, and I think that was like the dynamic. Some people were eventually they're like, man, can this happen for me? Like,
But then like eventually I got into a conversation with one of the students. I was like, and then they were like, oh no, like, I haven't felt like I created a meaningful connection with anyone. And I was like, okay, wait, like, hold up. Like, as in that, get their
Define
LinkedIns.
meaningful.
It's
It
a
was
professional,
meant
it's a
to be
professional connection.
lighthearted. I was trying to be funny.
Yeah, because they were like, wait, 6 minutes is not enough. Like, and I'm like,
how am I
That's
supposed
what
to
the
know when I found
Friday
my
night
soulmate?
activity
That's
was
why.
for.
That's why it's got to take it past the conference and
Yeah.
be able to keep in touch. And
Yeah.
Exactly. Keep in touch using
That's why you
LinkedIn.
get
So
that
is LinkedIn the
LinkedIn.
new dating app now, right? Yeah.
definitely not. It's,
LinkedIn needs dating.
Oh no.
yeah.
all I say is wait until you're graduated. From then on, it's
Right.
fair game. But
Yeah.
I'm saying all I'm saying is
I
like,
am not responsible
yeah,
for anything that comes out of
we
my
can
Right.
include that in the disclaimer.
Right.
Yeah.
We should include that in the disclaimer. The intention of networking with BAP is not to find your life partner.
Listen, but it can happen.
It's a
But it can
byproduct.
happen. It can happen.
And then yes, with Mackenzie mentioned it earlier today.
I make you
that-
talk about that any chance I get.
You do.
yeah, yeah.
It's
I mean,
my
we-
favorite
so-
thing.
Yeah,
It's-
so Baby Ramos is due August 27th. So it's
No.
literally
Literally a month.
Literally
Yeah.
a month.
Exactly.
Literally
a
a month.
Yeah, so the
Yeah.
missus is 9 months pregnant. So
Yeah.
hopefully everything goes according to plan and just
And I
August
want
27th.
you to know the two things I forgot to pack, besides my khaki pants that I left in the dryer.
Oh no.
I did forget your baby shower gift.
Oh man.
I'm sorry, but it will be mailed to you. You have a tiny onesie with the Beta Alpha Psi logo on it.
Oh wait, it has a what?
It has the
That's
Beta
a-
Alpha Psi logo on it. I made it with my Cricut.
Oh my
that we got
gosh, that's so cute.
And you also have, in my personal opinion, the funniest onesie ever that says "World's Cutest Tax Deduction." So
I like that.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
me and my wife were both tax folks, so
I know.
For context.
Yeah.
For context. Yeah.
And so, and then also I mentioned it to my my alma mater, Old Dominion University. They had 4 people here from the chapter and one of the faculty advisors, and one of the students participated in project run with it. So it was good to be able to catch up with them and actually a couple of the students. The reason why they joined Beta Alpha Psi is because I told the story about how I met my wife. And
That
So
is
they're seeking
so
true love. They joined
funny.
Beta Alpha Psi to seek their true love.
well, and now they're officers.
Oh
they're-
my goodness.
They're competing in best practices whenever they can at the mid-year meetings, and I
In the
told them.
search of their true love.
Well, I told them that I was like that we were
Right on.
expecting, and the idea that we came up with in 2 minutes, like of just talking about it, they were thinking about like when I come over for the new candidate social that happens at the beginning of the semester. They were thinking about like inducting the baby. into the chapter.
no!
Guess what they
way.
called
Do
it?
Do it.
What?
Guess
Do
what
it.
they called it?
Do
They called it a
it.
baptism.
Oh, that's.
I hope you get a tiny
my
OU
God.
onesie out
I
of
want to
this.
see the photos. I
That's
wanna see the photos.
everything.
That is cute.
I'm gonna cry. I can't.
But on that whole thematic message, I guess, like, comment, let us know if
Like, comment,
if a dating
subscribe.
show or some
Yeah,
sort of spin-off
right.
is of interest.
Yep.
You know,
Hey,
I love
Netflix.
programming. I know.
So I guess the next episode on the podcast should be matchmaking, right? Is that the
It
plan?
Oh my
be.
God.
It could
Yeah.
be.
Speaking of, let's go back to our original disclaimers. The opinions expressed on this
On
podcast.
this podcast are not.
Margie's gonna watch this and be like, "Guys, we're done.
Oh man.
This is how it
gosh.
ends."
Oh,
Season
golly.
2,
Oh,
episode 1.
golly.
Okay, well
All right,
before
all right.
we wrap it up then, we always like end off every question with this one, but basically to go down the row, what is everyone's favorite Beta Alpha Psi memory?
Somebody else go first.
Yeah, please. There's too many.
Riley, what's your
Only
favorite
two.
Beta Alpha Psi memory?
That's a good one.
yeah.
Flip it on his
Flip
head.
I'm gonna keep it limited
Fine.
to this meeting.
Oh,
Oh,
okay, that's
this
great.
meeting. Oh,
Okay,
okay.
limited-
that's
limited
so much
meeting.
easier.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, yeah.
Limit
Not
it to
ever,
this
okay.
meeting because we
Okay.
answered that question last time.
I was
Exactly.
gonna say
So,
I've been
okay,
involved for
you'll
the
see
last
it.
10
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Decade, right?
Mackenzie, it could be
Decade.
anything regarding like anything that led up to this meeting,
Yeah.
as far as because I know you were planning it.
Okay,
on, Riley.
I will go first then. I will
Okay.
say, and not just because it was the least stressful for me because I had no part in the planning of it, but Community Impact Day I
that
thought
was
was
fun.
phenomenal. So Community Impact Day is sponsored by KPMG. Thank you, KPMG.
KPMG.
And we had some folks from a group called Reading Rocks and Wildly Different come and facilitate this session for our students. And we had an absolute blast. So for those of you who did not meet her, my mother was my +1 for day 1 of the meeting, and it was a literacy-themed kind of like game show trivia. So we kind of had a secret weapon on our team. We crushed it. We actually did win for Team Red. Shout out,
Oh.
Mom.
Okay.
Yeah, she was really good at the literacy quiz. But it was awesome to see the students really come together as a table and answer some questions. I got some awesome shots of some of the games that we played, especially the one where you have to flip the pencils. and
Oh,
grab
yeah,
them.
you had
I got
those
some really
action
cool
shots.
action shots of that. So those will be up on the photo repository, the Google Drive, after the meeting, and we'll send a link out. But I just thought that was phenomenal, and I'm so excited that we're able to give back to some of the Orlando schools. So that was my personal favorite.
Okay, so I'm kind of
looking
tied
at
between
me.
two, but maybe I'll give the honorable mention. So Mangala is like pretty much our local selfie queen over here, and so he's always taking the
Selfie
selfies.
queen.
He's always
I don't know if I.
he's always taking the selfies.
All right.
He's
yeah,
always
that's
taking the
true,
selfie,
that's
so-
true. From an awkward angle.
Like, I'm here for it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like
No, and when we say awkward angle, it's not. It's
a
like
diagonal angle.
it's like on the ground.
Yeah,
To
and
your
you're making me lean
face,
over,
or
and I have
yeah.
5 chins
45,
now.
yeah, 45 degrees. Like
I've never
you
had a
gotta-
picture taken up my nose before.
Hey, you gotta spice it up.
He's trying to get the authentic, genuine moment.
The
Yeah.
authentic, genuine moments.
But, like, that got me-
pair up with Mackenzie's like heartfelt messaging, by the way.
Yes, that was
Oh
the
my
thing.
gosh. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
Thunder. You
yeah.
go-
Well,
you
that
go
was
for it.
the thing too with the post and us trying to recreate last year's picture, like that. Like, I'm
I
not
was in
gonna
my
lie.
feels, guys.
Where were we when we saw? I think we were heading back to the hotel from
Medieval times?
From medieval times,
Yep.
and that's when I saw the post, and so everyone was getting all choked up and stuff.
You're welcome.
Yeah. You're gonna cry. You're gonna make us cry.
Yeah, and then I'll,
Sorry.
but I think my favorite part is like still being able to do hype squad.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's
100%.
that was what
Yeah.
Danielle. That was your was
That-
that your
Danielle
idea?
was
No, so
Whose idea was that?
2 years ago at the annual meeting, kind of before I chaired it, Paige was one of the meeting co-chairs, and she had reached out to me basically saying, Danielle, we have an idea. We want to reimagine the award process and people coming on stage, and kind of threw out that idea. And I was like, say less. and kind of like figured out the logistics. I bought the hats off of Amazon, so you can get those
you're
hats off of
responsible
Amazon.
for the
Yes,
hats.
that was me. That
No,
was me.
wait,
I was
no,
like, if
wait,
I'm going
no,
in,
wait.
I'm
We don't
going
want
in
imposter.
hard.
We don't want imposters
No
like
imposters.
Well,
coming
yes,
in
no,
with
but-
Hype Squad hats.
Yes, I had to make. I knew there had to be some easy identifier. So yes, the hats, kind of the logistics, but I think it's worked out well.
Lovely
I
red
love it.
sequin
I love it.
Yes,
numbers.
yes.
I love it.
And we've had it at every mid-year meeting. We've had
Yeah.
it at
Yep.
the past
Every
annual
year, yeah,
meetings.
It's a staple now.
And it's
a
always
staple.
like the best way to hype up everybody when they
yeah.
get their awards, and then at least provide some sort of order to the madness of getting them over to the step and repeat, or just however the professional partners like direct us of how they want us to be.
Yeah.
So I feel like it really keeps the energy going.
And it's so funny because, especially having access to the BAP social media account, like, I have seen you guys tagged in so many posts. So those hats have ended up everywhere.
oh,
So many
for real?
chapters have
Can we-
reposted selfies with you guys.
Oh, please, can we see it?
Absolutely.
All right.
Well,
we
even
gotta
when
see it.
you're taking pictures with the chapters after they receive their awards, you guys like also were doing selfies over by the step and repeat.
We
Oh,
were.
yeah, yeah.
So-
yeah, we were just like, yeah.
Oh, Magala
selfies.
was making sure. He's like, did we get the hype?
Did we get the
Yeah,
hype?
selfie
Someone
picture?
please, yeah, Did we get the hype squad pick? Someone get in quick.
Yes.
Yeah. 'Cause
Yeah.
I didn't want it to always be me and Amber, but yeah.
Yeah. But Mangala, what was your favorite?
I think that's a hard one. I'm gonna say like being with y'all.
Y'all.
Being with y'all is up there. Definitely being able to kind of like I went around telling everyone. I was just like, ever since basically Danielle's year, I feel like I'm just part of part of this amazing journey of like being alumni, and still wanting to hang out with students. I know some of us don't, but like, but like look, I'm not gonna call you out like that, Riley. But yeah, like we.
Somebody went clubbing last year in Vegas. We know you hung out with the students.
Hey! I was trying to make sure that they're responsible. All right, like yeah.
Mangala was late
Yeah.
for last year's podcast because he was taking a nap.
It happens. It happens.
I feel like I'm perpetually late to like. I mean, it gets look. Like,
You're also
I'm
super
gonna
jet
say,
lagged.
I'm gonna say. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say one thing. Disclaimer. I had this one-to-one chat with like a certain alumni who kindly reminded me that as age passes on, it means that I'm not able to keep up with the youngins anymore. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. I try. Look, I try and interact with the students and interact with alumni. But obviously, I love just being able to like kind of make sure that our bond like stays the way it is. And I feel like, except for Wilson, you need to get here, by the way. Like shout out
Yes.
to Wilson.
Somebody
right?
sponsor
like
Wilson to come
basically
to the U.S.
someone please sponsor Wilson, or we can all fly to Australia. Like
down
we've
for
had
that.
every alumni rep and advocate together, like almost every, and I feel like so special being a part of that. So that's what I really love. I mean, from a student perspective, probably Project Run with it. So
Yeah.
that never gets tiring. Like being up at night, like wandering around these halls at like midnight because it's like 12 p.m. in Australia or whatever when it's midnight here. And then and because like the whole conference still hasn't quite started yet, you kind of feel like it's like super secretive. Like I mean some students were like, when I came over I was like, can I listen in? They're like, which team are you from? And then I was
That's
like,
what I tell you.
"Alright."
They get.
They get competitive.
They're
They
very
get
competitive.
and yeah, and then when I'm like, no, I'm like one of the
You're like,
alumni
I am
reps.
not.
Please
a
state your reason and
spy.
purpose for being
Yeah,
in the room.
exactly.
Who do
And
you
then
know here?
yeah, don't be stealing our ideas now. And I'm like, I have no vested interest.
I know.
Yeah.
You're a spy.
Yeah, I remember last year just trying to go and take pictures with them, and they're like, "Can you please leave? We're busy." I was like, "I understand."
I was trying to get
You're
social
stressed.
content
Yeah.
too, and they were like, I'm like, I get it, I did it. That was the first and last time I ever like shotgunned a Red Bull. But yeah, it's a long.
What's a shotgun to
Well,
Red Bull?
we'll tell you later.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's a late night, but even the service that we provide to those organizations, I think, is invaluable.
Oh, absolutely.
Shout out to Moss Adams. though.
impactful,
Moss
yes.
Adams, thank you for sponsoring Project Run with it constantly, and shout out to Leanne and Ellen who saved the shirt for me
Aw.
from 2023, and then now they're gonna save a shirt for me for 2024. So I'm holding them accountable with this podcast.
I can't.
no, I'm kidding. But yeah, no, Riley's the messenger though. Like they ship
Yeah.
it to Riley and then he gives it to me.
That's so funny.
That's so sweet.
Wait, I still have y'all shirts. I
Yeah,
forgot.
exactly.
I
The
s-
Project Run.
yeah,
edition.
it's upstairs. It's
Yeah.
upstairs.
For the 2023 one though.
For me too.
Yes.
Yeah. So
didn't know I
y'all
get a
gonna
shirt.
have to
This is
come back.
exciting.
Yeah,
I
we
know.
get one. Yeah. So
Aw.
It doesn't matter
I'm
how
like,
old
can you
you
save
get.
the alumni
Free
stuff?
shirts,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Good
that's
jammies.
that's just an excuse for y'all to like help me pack up and
Absolutely.
bring the stuff
Got it.
in
Yeah.
so you
On
can
it.
get your
Mission.
shirts.
You know what? Actually, that reminds me. KPMG shirts. I've been using them as jammies, like the
Oh, yes.
2017 and the the
No,
2017
they're comfy.
orange and 2018 blue ones. And then like this time, I stacked up. I real stacked up because
love
I
it.
was like, I brought a suitcase and I was like, I'm gonna bring like 6 or 7 of these back home.
Oh man.
That's funny.
Well, I guess
That
I'll
was my
transition to
memory.
my favorite my favorite memory of this
You're gonna say
meeting. What?
Freebies?
No, it's not the
You
freebies.
said- I thought you
not
said
the
it was
freebies.
a segue, Danielle.
No, I would say honestly, I think it's right here, like doing the podcast.
Yeah.
I think is my favorite memory of this meeting, and the reason being is I think as it's kind of like our 1-year anniversary, we're all back together, and I missed this last year because I had to pop on a plane, so I was always jealous of missing the first one. But it just feels very genuine and authentic, and I also think it's kind of the transition for another great year together. So I'm excited for what we'll all accomplish this next year, and just kind of keeping to bring the energy and be alongside all of our viewers and listeners. So we always appreciate feedback and recommendations, and love engaging with you all here as well.
Here, Danielle, won't you do the honors since you weren't here last
if
week?
you guys are
Oh.
still
Oh,
listening-
here we
Do the
go.
outro.
The
This is like
outro?
banging the gavel. This is like
Okay.
banging the gavel.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Well, with that, thank you all for tuning in to this week's episode of Becoming a Professional. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow us from whatever platform you're tuning in on. And as mentioned, leave us feedback, reach out. If you can also check out the show notes for our various social media platforms, sites, and pages, and our official BAP swag. Thank you to the team, all of you as my co-hosts. We made it through our first year. Looking forward again to growth for next year. And here's to many more episodes. And with that, we'll see you all in the next episode of Becoming a Professional. Hi, everyone. Danielle here with the credits. This episode, titled Annual Meeting Recap, was hosted by myself, Danielle Bradley, Mackenzie, Mangala, and Riley. And we are so thankful for you joining us today. Music was sourced from Resolute Audio and fine-tuned music on Adobe Stock. Huge shout out to Beta Alpha Psi for their financial support and keeping our podcast going strong. If you haven't already, please join the Alumni Member Network. Details can be found in our show notes. Thank you again for tuning in, and we'll see you all in the next episode of Becoming a Professional.